Republicans, and especially the MAGA types, have always had a stunning lack of self awareness. But what happened on Friday takes that to a whole new level. I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve podcast for Really American Media. And if you really want to make MAGA squirm, subscribe to our page and help us hit 1 million followers. All right, grab your barf bag and get ready to gag on irony. Attorney General Pam Bondi, also known as Legally Blonde, went on Fox News and said all of this without her liar pants catching on fire.
This is a government that is expanding the powers of the Article 1 of the Constitution. Now they're arresting judges. How do you respond to that?
No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, if you are obstructing justice, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are.
I mean, wow. Okay, where to start? Just a reminder, Trump was about to be sentenced to prison in New York until he won the 2024 election. Judge Marchand said that he was delaying the sentencing until after the election because he didn't want to influence the outcome. If he wasn't going to send Trump to jail, he would have just announced that and been done with it last summer. Plus, Donnie had several other criminal cases pending. But all of that went away when some of you elected him king. So let's break all this down. Our unqualified attorney general said that, quote, no one is above the law in this country. Really? No one? I mean, literally no one?
In a landmark decision, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that all presidents have broad immunity, essentially a license to commit crimes as long as they're using the official powers of their office to do it.
The president now is absolutely immune, so free from any criminal prosecution within the core functions of that office, which include a lot of things.
This not only reshapes the presidency, it can reshape the entire functioning of American democracy.
Gee, it sort of seems like the Supreme Court thinks that at least one person does get to be above the law, as long as it's an official act, which simply means any president looking to skirt the law just has to deem his shenanigans to be an official act in the best interest of the country, for national security, or whatever. And our current felon in chief seems to agree with that wholeheartedly.
President Trump also getting a lot of attention for his social media post, which said, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." Do we know where that's from, and what kind of reaction is he getting to it?
We still need context on what exactly he's talking about and what exactly he means, but it appears to be a ripoff of a movie quote from the movie Waterloo from 1970, where Napoleon Bonaparte says, quote, "He who saves a nation violates no law." So he appears to be switching out the word nation for country, but there's some pushback from some of the Democrats, including Senator Adam Schiff, who retweeted that, basically saying, spoken like a true dictator.
Yeah, exactly. As long as he's trying to save the nation, anything goes. But we all know Trump is good at practicing self-restraint in all situations, right?
The audio we're about to play for you was recorded just before this moment when they meet up with their soap star.
She's your girl's hottest in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa! I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the.
Yeah, getting back to Pam Bondi, who is grabbing the rule of law by the throat and drowning it in a bathtub with no sense of irony, also said that destroying evidence is a legal no-no and that cannot be tolerated. Has she ever met her boss or read a newspaper?
Former President Donald Trump is calling the new charges against him in the classified documents case harassment. Prosecutors allege that Trump and his property manager at Mar-a-Lago conspired with another aide to delete security video just days after receiving a subpoena. Natalie Brand reports on the latest from Washington.
Former President Donald Trump railed against the new charges he's facing related to the classified documents investigation.
This is harassment. This is election interference.
A 60-page superseding indictment from a federal grand jury in Florida accuses Trump of conspiring to pressure a Mar-a-Lago employee to delete security camera footage.
I'm pretty sure that deleting footage that proves you committed a crime would count as destroying evidence. Plus, he got someone else to do it for him. I'm no lawyer, but it seems like that would be illegal too. It is. Plus, there's the whole thing where he got his staff at Mar-a-Lago to move those documents around so that nobody can find them. Don't worry, he put them in a top secret bathroom. Nothing guilty about that. Or skanky and unsanitary. Then Legally Blonde also went on to say that obstructing justice won't be tolerated, nor should it be, unless...
This is important because surveillance footage is what FBI investigators ultimately used to allege that they had probable cause to believe a crime was committed, namely that boxes had been moved in and out of the storage room in an effort to obstruct the investigation. And now, a month after the original charges, we now have new charges accusing Trump of obstruction and a new additional count of willful retention of national defense information.
Now, you may think that everybody gets to obstruct justice just once, like it's a legal mulligan. As long as you don't do it again, it should be a get-out-of-jail-free card. So Pam Bondi would really look dumb if there were, I don't know, a whole bunch of examples of Trump doing stuff like that. Here we go. In January 2017, National Security Advisor Michael Flynn falsely denied discussing U.S. sanctions with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. After learning that Flynn had lied, President Trump asked the FBI director for loyalty during a private dinner. On February 14th, after Flynn's resignation, Trump said firing him ended the Russian issue, but an advisor disagreed, noting that the whole thing would continue. Or in February of that same year, Attorney General Jeff Sessions considered recusing himself from campaign-related investigations due to his role in that campaign. In early March, President Trump asked White House counsel Don McGahn to prevent Sessions' recusal. After Sessions recused himself anyways, the president expressed anger and stated he wanted an attorney general who would protect him, obstruct stuff. How about this? In the summer of 2017, the president learned that media outlets were investigating a June 2016 meeting at Trump Tower involving senior campaign officials and a Russian lawyer who had damaging information about Hillary Clinton. The president repeatedly instructed aides not to disclose the emails related to that meeting. Obstruction. There's also the time that he and Michael Cohen conspired to cover up evidence that he used campaign funds to pay off a porn star so she wouldn't disclose their affair right before the election, which would sort of be election interference. Now, I could go on, but I think you get the general point, which brings us back to the current times, where the Trump administration decided to do this.
A judge in Wisconsin was arrested this morning at the very courthouse where she works. Joining us now is NBC's Tom Winter. Back with us is Temadayo Oganga-Williams. So, Tom, what exactly happened here?
Right, so the details are still coming in, but the reporting comes from our colleague Mike Cosner at our Washington, D.C. bureau. He's reporting that Judge Hannah Duggan, who she's a Milwaukee County Circuit judge, was arrested this morning, quote, for allegedly assisting an undocumented immigrant in avoiding arrest after he appeared in her courtroom last week. Apparently, and by the way, we found out about all of this because the FBI director, Kash Patel, issued a tweet that has since been deleted. We're not sure why it was deleted, announcing this arrest and announcing these charges. And he said, quote, "We believe Judge Duggan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien," his words, "to evade arrest."
Yet we're living in an era where one branch of government is arresting another equal branch of government. The FBI is arresting judges, and I assure you, this is just the beginning of that, and the end of democracy as we know it. The judicial branch is the only thing standing in Trump's way, since he's in bed with the legislative branch, and they're willing to bend over backwards, just like Stormy Daniels did. But in that case, only Stormy was getting screwed. As of right now, we're all getting violated, and the only people that stand a chance at stopping this is the American public, as in you, me, the resistance. If Trump's approval ratings drop low enough, all those stooges in the legislative branch will be so fearful of losing their jobs in the next election that they may actually remember that they too are an equal branch of government. So share this, comment on it, shove it in the face of that mega uncle of yours and get vocal. We are the resistance after all. I'm Steve Harness from the Vocal Minority Podcast for Really American Media.